Hey, Kevin, Miles looked like he didn't practice yesterday. Do you expect him to practice today, and what's going on?
Yeah, just going to ramp him up. We'll continue to work off to the side with him for now, but he'll be out there shortly.
Still dealing with the hamstring?
Yeah, just going to be smart about ramping him up, but he'll be out there soon.
Does the fact that Chubb is out here on the field and not under wraps, does that represent a threshold in his progress at all?
I don't know specifically to that, Tony. I'd say he's progressing exactly where he should be. You know Nick, I know Nick. I mean, he's pushing it. He's doing everything that they're asking him to do, and as much as he can do more than that within reason and within what the medical side wants him to do. But it's good to have him out here, period. We always love when Nick's out there at practice. He's somebody that even when he's not in the given play, he can make a big impact on it. But I wouldn't say him being out there is an indication of when he's back. He'll be back when he's back.
But I mean, the one-on-one time with a trainer inside, is that over with?
I think he's still doing. I mean, you should see how much he's doing day to day. I mean, he's up early, working with the trainers, working with the strength and conditioning staff. So all of that happens in the morning, in the evening, around practice as well.
The way that Deshaun Watson left minicamp, Deshaun stayed the last day, we should have called Jared Moses like that. How much does that help him heading into this training?
He's excited, Mary Kay. Just sitting down and talking with him, he feels that he's ready to go. Again, we'll be smart with all of our guys, especially your quarterback. We'll be smart with what we ask him to do and as we bring him along, if you will. But he's very excited and feels good.
Kevin,
you plan ahead with him when you're considering playing him in the preseason? Can you just talk about the pros and cons that you're weighing?
Yeah, I think you always have to look at every decision and what's in the best interest of the club and the best interest of the player. We have some time before we make that decision. I've done it a bunch of different ways for different players over the years, and really the whole goal is to get ready for the season and beyond and get ready for September 8th. So if we feel like it's important to play, we'll do that. If we feel like it's not, we'll do that. But still taking in information, I want to talk to the coaches as we get closer to those preseason games.
Do you admit that the fact that he hasn't played since November is a new factor
Yeah,
into your decision?
all of it factors in for sure.
Kevin, when it comes to
when it comes to guys playing in the preseason, how many full contact practices, things like that, have you developed the philosophy over 5 years, or is every situation just?
It's really interesting, Zach. I look at all of it. I look at what we've done over the years. I look at what other teams do. You really have to do what you feel is best for your team. There's teams that I would say are very conservative. There are teams that are not. And guess what? Both of it works. I think back, there's teams that go to the Super Bowl and do it one way, and the team they're playing in the Super Bowl did it another way. So I don't think one way is right per se. I think you just have to do what's right for your football team.
Kevin, is it then off of that, is timing game timing sort of overrated in some regards going into the regular season? Getting quarterback and receiver, actual those game reps, that sort of thing.
It's a good question. I think it all matters. I think what you do in walkthrough matters. I think what you do in your individual period throwing to your receivers matters. Certainly game reps can be helpful, and then you have to weigh those game reps. Are you necessarily showing things that you're going to be doing in the season? You have to weigh all those. Again, we've done it different ways over the course of my career. I've seen it done different ways as an assistant coach, so we'll make those decisions as we get closer. But I do think all of it is it's really the sum of the parts in my mind.
Kevin, with this being the third year for Deshaun here, in fact, he's only going to be able to play 12 games. What have you noticed as far as just his approach this offseason, coming into training camp to, feels like all eyes are on him?
He's been diligent about his rehab. He's worked very hard to put himself in position where he is right this minute. All eyes on him. I think that's nothing new for the quarterback and the quarterback in any franchise. I think he's used to that. So I think for him it's been a big off-season of making sure his body's right and certainly his mind is right, and he's got the right mindset as we get going.
So we know a little adjustment on the defensive front is using that other tackle as a nose tackle more this year. And since Tomlinson filled that role, does that mean could Michael Hall go into that role or not?
We're very, very multiple in that regard, Tony. I think we can do it either way. Jim's done it both ways, so it's really a matter of who are the players. That's we're constantly thinking about players and not plays. So when we find out who's available to us, especially going into week 1, that's when we'll make determinations. But to your question, yeah, our interior guys can play the 2-eye or the 3. They're interchangeable for us.
When we talked to Jim in the spring, he mentioned adding some change-ups in year 2, right, in there. How could that mean an expanded role or anything different for Miles?
As you know, there's no shortage of defensive playbook, offensive playbook. For us as coaches, and what I think Jim does a great job of, is understanding where we are as a unit, understanding year 2 now versus year 1, a veteran player versus a rookie. So when it comes to Miles, there's certainly things that we can continue to do with him that we've shown. And then there's always things that Jim and the defensive staff look at that maybe this would be a good complement to something we've done. So that happens really weekly with Miles, and it's helpful to have a smart player, a versatile player that can do both things. You can drop him into coverage, you can rush him. You can rush him on the inside, on the outside. So I think there's really no limit to what you can do. I think again, going back to, I think Jim does a great job of giving the guys a plan that they can all understand and then execute on game day.
Okay, when you look at the outlook for the wide receiver position, outside of Amari and maybe Jared, do you see it's kind of like an open competition to really?
It should be. Yeah, the depth chart, it should be open at this point in July. Obviously, you mentioned Amari, and there's guys that are veterans that have done it, but we really do. We don't have to set a depth chart. We don't think about it in that regard. I think you'll see the coaches rotating a bunch of guys in there throughout practice. And I think that wide receiver room in particular is an exciting room for Coach O'Shea, for us, where we have a bunch of guys that can do different things. And that versatility is so important when you're talking about offensive football, because you can jump in and out of different things offensively, and you feel like you have the guys that can work through different schemes, if you will.
Kevin, how is Deshaun Watson adapting to picking up some of the newer concepts that Ken Dorsey is bringing in? And I'm assuming plenty of them were things that he had done at Clemson and Houston, but how's he assimilating it?
Yeah, Sean's doing great with everything, and I would point to Dorsey does a great job of including the wide receivers. Just this morning, sitting with the quarterbacks, the wide receivers in meetings together, talking through different concepts that are new for all of us, maybe new for 1 or 2 of the players, and really having a dialogue from player to player, player to coach, making sure we all see it the same way. But all of those guys, in particular Deshaun, they've really done a great job of working hard at that.
Why did you want to change the offense? Why was now the right time to do that?
Change the offense? I think going back, for us, the whole focus is just trying to get better. For me, I'm excited about the coaches we're able to add to the staff. Talked yesterday about Coach Dorse, but I think really highly of the entire staff that we're able to put together.
When I go back to Miles, I mean, it's your 5th year with him, but is there ever points where he still surprises you with what he's able to do out there?
Yes. Every Sunday, I think. Just physical ability is unmatched.
Last year you had 4 preseason games. This year you'll have 3. Preseason you'll have
Right.
2. Would you like more or less?
Whatever they put on the schedule, Tony, we'll play. I go back to last year. That was a different schedule for us, allowed us to ramp up, but whatever it is.
It seems pretty crystal clear that they're going to at some point add an 18th game and adjust this schedule.
Right.
Just getting through 17 games, getting a team through 17 games healthy and whatnot is challenging enough. Just what's your thought on the league moving in this direction where they want to add that 18th?
We'll adjust. If and when that happens, we'll adjust. We think long and hard about that when you put together a plan, but we'll adjust whatever the league does.
When Amari was talking yesterday about Ken's offense, he mentioned trying to run as many plays as possible. Is an increase Amari about Ken?
Yeah.
As he said he studied when he wasn't there.
Yeah.
Is an increase in tempo something you're looking to add when you're talking about changes in the offense?
Potentially. Yeah, that's one area I think Ken has a lot of experience with, and no huddle, so certainly it's one area.
How fast can you go in the NFL game? I mean,
Chip Kelly showed you can go pretty fast. Yeah.
but is it sustainable, like at that tempo, that speed, or do you have to sort of,
It's an interesting question. I think the ability to go in and out of tempo, I think, can be really effective when you're going against a defense. Sometimes if you stay going fast all the time or going slow all the time, I think that can make it easier on the defense.
Kevin, you guys didn't have Amari or
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I think those guys have reps together. They've worked together, but anytime you can get your full complement out there, it is important.
Kevin, what does it mean to you to have a guy like Rodney McLeod who is coming back here and then decided to call it his career, one last ride, and he wants to do it in orange and brown? As a coach, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of number 12. He's been great for our culture. He's been great for our team. He's played really well for us last year before he was injured. He's an energy multiplier. He's a champion. I can't say enough great superlatives about Rodney and what he means to this team.
Jerome going to be at.
Won't be here today, but he'll be here shortly. He's got some great news to share with you when he gets here.
Kevin, you talked about the wide receiver a little bit. Just what are you guys sort of expecting and hoping to see in year 2 with Cedric Tillman as he tries to kind of make a name for himself in the second year?
Excited about Ced. Young player, got started about midway through the season when he started playing more last season, so got some good game reps under his belt. Works very, very, very hard. I think I mentioned it before, didn't miss a day in the offseason, has the right attitude. Quarterbacks like throwing him the ball, which I think is a good thing to remember. He's very quarterback friendly with his body and the way he is dependable on how he runs his routes. So excited about him taking the next step, but I can promise you he's going to work very hard.
Kevin, how important is this week of training camp, especially for the rookies, as they get acclimated and kind of building off of rookie mini camp and OTAs?
Yeah, our rookies, I think the organization does an outstanding job of putting resources around them. And I would highlight Ron Brewer does a really, really good job in the spring and then, of course, into the summer of programming with them and sitting with them and making sure that they understand all the resources that are available to them. We keep them 1 week longer in the off-season program, so they stay for an extra week. So their summer break is a little bit shorter. But we try to give them every opportunity to understand the things that go into playing this game because it's hard. There's a lot about this is hard, and not just the physical aspect of it, but all the things off the field. So I would highlight Ron and our team that do a really nice job of supporting those young men as they get started here. Okay?
Good.
Kevin, is David on the same kind of trajectory as Bob in terms of ramp-up?
Correct. Yeah, we'll see him soon. Okay.
Coach Vrabel being past that.
I think that's a violation of the CBA, but he would do it if he could. See you guys.